So this is the Euro USD chart on the monthly time frame. Okay, so you could see that market is very bearish. Market is very bearish now. Okay, so when we've already looked on the DXY, which is the dollar index, which is now on a monthly demand, which means that the dollar is going to rise, which means that all the pairs like Euro USD, GBP USD, they are going to fall. Yes, and look for more buys on USD JPY. Yeah, okay, so looking from this, we could see that market is very bearish. We are not going to use trend lines, because trend lines, there are errors on trend lines, you understand? Okay, because everyone has his bias on trend lines. So what we are going to do is, now we can look for here. We could see that market now is doing what? Is approaching. I think there is a supply here. There is a supply here. Okay, this is supply. This is a supply zone. Okay, so from this supply, we could see that market tested it. Market came, market tested it. Now see market. After that, market came again back to it. Market pushed further down. Then now market is now going there again. Okay, so what do we expect? So now let's move on to see clearly of how to see more context. Let's zoom in. Okay, so looking from the weekly, we could see that from the weekly we could see that market is very it has broken a structure here, a market structure here. Okay, so it has broken a market structure here, which means that the weekly is very bullish. Okay, which means that it is heading to this supply. So what do we do now? We can be looking at this demand zone. So this is a demand level, this is a demand level, this is a demand level. Okay, so because this you can see this big candle here. Yes, okay, so another one here. Yeah, but here market consolidated a lot around this zone. There was a lot of consolidation, then the market went. Okay, so I won't be considering here. What I'll be considering is just this demand here. There's another demand here. Okay, so now we can consider these two. Okay, so after this, we could see that there was market rough. Market barely pushed further away. The market is now in a range or consolidating area. Now market is ranging. You understand? As we've already discussed, now market, you could see, is making a lot of same high, same lows. Market is not moving anywhere. So what do we do now? Since we know that DXY is selling, now let's move on to the daily to see where we can get some potentials to sell this market. Okay, so looking from there, let's zoom in. Okay, we could see that there is markets came here, then there was looking from here, let me see. Okay, so when market broke it, then you could see that this was a low. Okay, this was a low. Okay, so which means that the weekly is bullish, and the daily true is very bullish. Okay, so now let's mark. We can see after this drop, then you could see that market made a very single base. The market made a very strong upward move. Yes, which means that here is our daily demand. So this is a daily demand now. Okay, so and now currently market is coming there. What do? We wait for market to come to fall. So we wait for market to be falling, then you do you start looking for more buys on this one. Okay, so now let's move on to the 4 hour to see. Okay, so from the 4 hour, you could see that it's the same thing. So now market is here. Market, I can see a supply here. I can see a very good supply here, as the same way we saw it on the GBP USD. There's a supply here. Okay, so this supply is where I can be looking for market to come in, the market to look for more sales. So on 4 hour, market is on a bearish. Look for more sales to come into this demand. Then you look for confirmation on the same 4 hour, because it is a daily demand. Then you look for some buys. So next week we should be looking for we should be looking for sales for intraday trades. So when we marked our 4-hour supply, that we said there's a supply here, which means that we'll be looking for an opportunity to sell here. Let's go to the daily to look into here, because to mark our to know more about the context of how this market is currently going now. Okay, so you could see that from here, let me remove this. Okay, so it means that now I can see that this market reacted to this demand here. This market is reacting to this demand here. Okay, I can see it over here. This market is reacting to this demand here. So now when this market does not hold, then I'll be waiting for this. Will be a very good opportunity for me to buy around this zone. Okay, which means that this demand zone, supply zone, which is the 4-hour, which will be invalid here to look for, because a daily demand is very stronger than what a lower time frame supply or demand zone, which means that this 4-hour supply cannot hold the pressure, or it must not hold the pressure of the daily demand. Yes, already market has already touched there, which means that market has taken some orders. Looking again, now market has come again to fetch more orders here, which means it has dug up to take in more on-field orders around the zone. Yeah, and now market is going, which means that this is an indecision candle, same as this. So all this was created by what? All this was created by retailers. All this candlestick, they are created by retail trades. Yeah, so there is no any institutional bias around here. So let's look. I think there is a supply here, a very good supply here. There's a supply here. Okay, there's a supply here, which is a daily supply market. Okay, let me see. Okay, so there's a supply here. Market has not tested it. You can see market has not tested it. Let me look at it well. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you could see that there was a very okay, so you could see that market has not tested it. Market just made some kind of this one. Yeah, the market fell, made a very strong this one. So by looking at it from this one, you could already claim that this is a supply. Market tested it, then now market has come to this demand now. So now what you do is you wait. You can wait for market to break out this, then look for more opportunities to buy here. Yeah, that is what I'm anticipating. But since DXY is buying, which means that you look forward, you can look for this demand zone, this supply zone, for market to what? For market to start falling, for market to fall from here. So from here, then we trade, look for buys here, then we trade the market. So this is my anticipation on Euro USD. So beware. Let's go to the 4-hour we can refine that position. Okay, which means that all here now is what tends to be what some liquidity zones. So all here will be some kind of, so looking from the 4-hour, you could judge from here that it has tested there. So we can look for the supply here. So I can see a basing candle, I can look for a basing structures here. So from here, basing structures around this. Okay, so here I'm looking for this sell here, this supply from the 4-hour supply, because I've seen that the daily supply has been tested. So which means that I'm waiting for what market to come on this 4-hour now. Then I'll be looking for what more sales to come and take out this 4-hour lower low, since 4-hour is bearish here. So to come and take this 4-hour lower low, you understand? So that is my anticipation. So just wait for market to come here, the market to take out the lows, to look for more opportunities for market to come here. So next week we'll be looking for sales on Euro USD as the same as GBP USD, as because the dollar index is rising. It's on a monthly demand zone. So beware. Thank you.